Freddie, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, superb, mate. Wonderful. Now, if you speak now, say
Hello?
like, yeah, can you hear yourself repeating on the mic when you say something?
Hello? No, no, no. All good.
Because I've
Yeah,
got I've got a mic, I've got speakers and everything like that. So look,
cool.
I really appreciate you doing this
No,
for us. I
no
do
worries.
apologise that my glasses aren't reflective lenses,
Yeah, that's all right.
so you can see
No
everything
worries.
in there. But no, really appreciate it. We all do back at the office. So
Yeah.
have you managed to get started on the CYSA coursework yet, or not yet?
Do you know what? I'm nearly ready for the exam, I would say. I've like plowed through it. To be honest with you, I recognize a lot of the stuff on there, and
Hmm.
I reached out to Jeremy. Do you know Jeremy?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
if I can get one of the trainers. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was my trainer, he was my teacher,
Oh, sweet.
and when I reached out to him when I started, he was like, "You'll plow through it," and that was the case. I watched the videos. I think the Security Plus was about, I'm guessing, I'm estimating here, but around 40 hours.
Yeah.
The Network Plus is like 60 hours. This is 8 hours, if
Oh,
that, of video content. So
oh, wow.
I recognized a lot of it. The networking was like overwhelming, but the this CYSA Plus, it's what I enjoy as well. So as I was watching it, I was taking notes, but there was no need for me to like rewatch any of it. I'm now I've got to do 5 mocks.
Yeah.
I've done 3, so I've got 2 more mocks to do,
Oh,
and
wow.
then I'm gonna go and book the exam. I'm pretty much I can't believe when I got the content, I was thinking this
Like
is
nothing.
yeah, no, well, it wasn't like nothing. Like, I mean, I'm definitely learning, but a
Good.
lot of it is more like um reinforcing a lot of stuff that I've been learning outside of, like, in the real world,
Oh,
outside, because
fantastic.
it's what I enjoy. So
Oh, good. So I put a few questions together. You don't
yeah,
mind me asking. I'll try not to take up too much of your time. I can be a bit of a waffler, but
yeah,
obviously it's Friday evening. I want you to enjoy yourself this weekend, so I won't take up too much of your time. So if
no
you just
worries.
don't give us a brief, quick introduction of yourself and
Yeah,
what motivated you to pursue a career in cybersecurity.
yeah. So, um, I started out um as in the construction industry originally, which was I enjoyed it. It was hands-on. I'm a doer, so it suited me
Hmm.
very early on, and eventually ended up after a few so after around 5 years, 5 winters, in the summer I enjoyed it, but the
Yeah.
winters on a dusty building site, I would come home
Yeah.
and look at my hands and think like, this is not the life for me,
And you'd
sort
be
of
like that all day, just
thing.
completely
Yeah,
freezing and
yeah, exactly, the
frozen to the
winters.
core.
So I remember getting up like getting on site at around like I don't know, 5 in the morning, freezing
Ooh.
cold, and thinking like this is not for me, sort of thing, and ended up quitting. But at that point, I recently got my driver's license, so I signed up to a driving agency and ended up in as a courier. I got sent over to DPD and very quickly worked my way into that industry, and I really found a I really found a job which I was good at in couriering. But in 2017, I was in a car accident, and that was um, it was a sort of devastating time.
An impactful event that sort of broadened your
Yeah.
horizon and thought, well,
Well,
maybe did it sort of make you realize I don't want to be driving all day every day now because it
Well,
could
well,
happen again?
well, it was a mixture of emotions. So I had time to where I was in a lot of pain, and there was a long sort of rehabilitation, around a year and a half, 2 years, where I was like in a lot of pain. I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. So I had a lot of time, Leah, to like think about my life, my health, and what I was really interested in and what I really loved.
Yeah.
And I've always been a techie. I've always been that sort of guy that all my family would come to with sort of technical problems, and I would enjoy taking their problems and like trying to fix them and figure them out. So I've always been that sort of problem solver, and I love tech. I've got that sort of like geeky side to me where I love sort of tech and
Exactly
that
the
sort of
same,
thing.
mate. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so I landed, I knew I couldn't, even though I was thriving as a courier, I owned a franchise, I was doing very well, but even though I was successful,
Hmm.
it wasn't sort of, I knew it wasn't like my calling. I knew there
Yeah,
was more to come, and I knew that I wasn't going back to that. So I thought I need to choose somewhere where it's not just ticks all the boxes, and I
yeah,
genuinely believe, um, I like it was around software development, cybersecurity, that sort of area. And in the end, I settled on cybersecurity. I knew there was a big boom happening in that industry, and they were crying out for hardworking, dedicated, like candidates who are
yeah.
ready to sort of take it on. And that's me all over. You know, I'm big on personal development
Well, you've
and
got the drive and you've got the determination,
yeah,
obviously, to be someone, to do something in your life,
yeah,
and you realize, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it, whatever it may
yeah.
be. This time, because you like
Liam,
tech, you've seen
yeah,
this and you jumped, you took the opportunity. Yeah.
yeah. And I will say, it is hard, it is challenging, and it requires somebody who has that drive. It's if you love a challenge
Hmm.
and you love to learn and you really want to achieve and challenge yourself every day, it is perfect. It's not a walk in the park, but I'm that type of personality, and I have that sort of that drive where I relish in that challenge.
Yeah.
So it suited me down to the ground. It was a bit surprising when I started. So sorry, to go back at that point, that's when I kind of was sort of putting feelers out as to how I would approach it. I looked at university degrees, sort of digital forensics, computer science, all these degrees, which of course is a certain route, but it's expensive.
Very.
It takes a lot of time as well, and I was a high earner doing what I was doing, so it would obviously mean, how am I going to pay if I'm studying? How am I going to afford to live and sustain my lifestyle? So there was all of these questions. Um, I looked down the certification route, and it was at that point that Robust IT actually reached out to me.
Hmm.
They contacted me. I think that one of their sales guys must have got a
Did you fill your
like a
details
flag.
in on a social media leads just to,
I think so, actually. Yeah, I
yeah,
think
just
that's
to
how.
get a little
Yeah,
bit of information? You know, this is
uh,
what I'm interested in. Give me a call or send me some information just to help
yeah,
you in your mind realize which
yeah.
direction you want to go in, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
yeah.
So yeah, marketing were obviously doing a good job at that time. They were getting the right shots out and whatnot. So yeah, I remember now. I filled out my details
Is it
on.
Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok?
I think it was Instagram, because
Mhm.
I don't have TikTok, and I don't have Facebook anymore. I don't think I did then. So I think it was Instagram that I filled out the information on,
Mhm.
and I got a call back within a week or two of maybe a few days. It was a very long time ago now, so but I do remember getting a call back from one of the nice sales guys. It could have been, I don't know if he still works for you. Really nice guy. He had dreadlocks, quite a slim black guy with dreads.
Might be. It might have been Scout.
No, no, it wasn't him.
Mm,
He
no,
may have left now. But he
a
was
couple of the
yeah,
couple of the guys did move on to bigger and better things. Like some of them still did the same course that you did, so they
right,
also moved on and stuff like
yeah,
that. But yeah,
yeah.
so no, I appreciate that. Yeah, go on.
So he got in contact. I had an initial conversation with him about how it works, and I think it took some time. There was a period of maybe a few months where I
Hmm.
was deliberating, because it wasn't I didn't want to jump at it. I wanted to make sure I had all my ducks in a row, and
Yeah,
I could afford it as well.
yeah.
And in the end, I went for the cybersecurity boot camp that they had there,
Hmm.
which included the 5 courses: the AZ 900, the Azure fundamentals, also the SC 900, and then the CompTIA, two CompTIA,
The
Security
Network Plus,
Plus.
Security
Yep,
Plus,
that's
and then
it.
the Certified Ethical Hacker.
Yeah, that's
by the
right.
EC Council, which can be quite the Network Plus and the CEH can be quite tedious. But like you said, you
Yeah,
enjoy that sort of stuff, so you put the effort in, and look at
yeah,
where you are now. Hence why we really appreciate you giving us this testimonial. So
yeah,
congratulations on completing all courses, by the way, and also
yeah.
your
Thank you.
latest one. So, what challenges did you face during your training, really, from beginning to end? Did you ever hit a point where you thought, I need to take a step back here, this is too much? Or,
Absolutely, absolutely. It is a challenge. There were definitely periods. The first two foundation courses, even the first one that I jumped into,
Mhm.
because I came from a place where I had a technical background, but I genuinely, in terms of the nitty-gritty, if I look back, I knew nothing in terms of like the actual real world knowledge that is required. So
Yeah,
I've come from a place of knowing, I would say 1%, like 0.1% of what you need to know, to now next month having I'm next month when I start my new job, I'll be fully inserted into the industry. So I feel
superb.
like that's part of the reason I wanted to offer this
Fantastic.
to Darren and the guys, because it's a testament to what can be achieved, you know.
How
But
far you've got, but you
yeah,
can't take that away from yourself. Obviously, all the hard
no,
work and dedication you've put in this, you've got to pat
yes,
yourself on the back, obviously.
yeah, yeah,
And when you start next month, when you're in there for a couple of weeks, the transition periods in the new year, you'll take a big sigh of relief and think of where you were a few years back at DPD to where you are
yeah,
now. You've got yourself to thank as much as us. Remember that
yeah,
you're the one that's got yourself in that position, but with
oh,
our dedication and support to help get you through there. So
yeah.
what would you say was the biggest challenge that you faced during the training with us, and how did you overcome it?
I would say the first two foundation courses were coming from a place of no experience, like I said, they were doable. So I got the blended course. So that was, I worked my way through them on my own. When
Yeah,
I started to get to the Network Plus, that's when it really sort of I hit a huge sort of, I wouldn't say like I didn't stop,
yeah,
but that's where the biggest challenge for me
like a
was that
huge
what,
sense of overbearing sort of thing.
yeah,
You thought,
I
oh
mean,
no, didn't
yeah,
realize.
exactly. It's like learning a new language. It's like you really have to plow through that part, and you need to tell, like what I did is I told myself, well, first of all, I spoke to people who were not experts, but people who were maybe 6 months, 1 year ahead of me,
Yeah,
and who were picking it up, and took their advice, which was, you're not going to learn all of this in 1 day or 1 week or 1 year. You need to just take small bites, small bites, small bites, and just be consistent. And over time, you'll gain this broader, more sort of clearer picture of what a networking infrastructure sort of looks like
yeah,
and feels like to be sort of it within, you know? So that was great advice, and that's also advice that I imparted to I as part of the course. It was blended, so there were some webinars, there was some classroom, obviously self-paced, and I had during the webinars, for instance, I had candidates that knew very little, and I was then that 6 month, 1 year guy for them. And
yeah,
they would DM me like privately in the webinar and say like, "Did you really not know anything 6 months ago?" And I would say like, "No, I did not. So
oh
just
wow,
stick at this, and
mm.
you will be helping people like I'm helping you, and
Yeah.
the chain will go on and on." So I
No,
think,
but they really appreciated that, and then it made you feel a bit better because you stuck through it, you gain the knowledge, and it's like you're passing your knowledge down to them younglings. You know,
yeah,
you're now a senior member of that journey, and you're
yeah, yeah.
helping the young ones with information. No, that's good to know. That it's like the teacher has become the master.
Yeah,
That's what you've
almost.
done.
But then I'm still in that position. I spoke to a friend of mine today who went down the university route, and I spoke to him and said, so even though I'm going into this sort of mid to senior role, I'm still at a place where I have these higher ups who I need to still look towards, you know. So
Yeah,
I'm still taking information from above and feeding it below. I feel like that's important. That's very
yeah,
important.
yeah.
That for
That
me was
journey.
yeah, yeah. That for me was the how I overcome those challenges.
Oh, oh, no, superb. And obviously,
Yeah,
where you're now moving into your next exam, the CoSA Plus, and you're moving into a new secure job role, you're still learning, but you're also helping and teaching the ones around you. And I
yeah.
think that is a great trait to have, not just in your business profession, but also in everyday life. You know, as
Yeah.
we get older, you realize you have less and less people around you. So if you can incorporate your business and your personal, it works really well. And it seems like that you've done that. So you seem like a genuinely decent young man. I mean, I'm 37 now,
Thank
so I
you.
can't class myself young anymore.
Yeah.
So, but doing that in your personal, your business, mate, you've got to where you are from your hard work, like I say. So
Yeah.
based on the course from beginning to end, along with our support and Jeremy, God rest him, he's still going strong, the boy. He still really knows his
Yeah.
fair play to him.
Excellent.
So what was the most important thing that you think that you learned from this course?
I mean, it's um it's a very sort of like wide um it covers a lot. It
Hmm.
covers a lot. I feel like a lot of it is as equally important as as each part,
Yeah,
but
every module. Yeah.
the networking is of course very important. That you can't protect something that you don't understand, you know?
Hmm.
So that for me, for someone who's starting out and starting this boot camp, really give as much effort and concentration and dedication into that networking because that is I feel like is integral and still is now.
Yeah.
Even now, when I look back, it's probably been about 3 or 4 years from when I started the courses. Um, I'm still learning. It's so vast. That's why you can't be hard on yourself. You can't look at this huge aspect of cybersecurity and like this networking side of thing and think I need to understand all of it or like in order to succeed
Yeah.
because it can't be done. It like maybe in 30, 40, 50 years worth of like you would be some savant, but
Yeah. Massive
it,
guru. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but that's and even those guys that like I'm sure they're still picking things up because the industry and the sphere is forever evolving.
Yeah.
So even once you've figured it all out, there's continuous learning to be done all the time. But that's you need to understand that and be at peace with that and not get bogged down in this all this information and knowledge. Just
Yeah.
be
Accept it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just be
Yeah.
kind to yourself and just like I said earlier, just bite size. Just keep picking away at it and don't lose that sort of like hunger.
No, superb.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to finish the course from beginning to end?
Oh, okay. If I can remember, it took me around 3 or 4 months to do the first two foundation courses, which I didn't have many problems with. But the networking around 5 or 6 months. Uh, security plus a little less because once I finished the networking, I could the end was in the end was in sight, you
Yeah.
know.
You
So
saw that light at the end of the tunnel.
exactly, yeah. So I got a big surge when I completed that, and I knew there was only those last sort of two courses to do, and that was a big push. I think all in all, m- roughly just under 2 years,
Yeah.
maybe
Good.
like 18 months,
Hmm.
and that's I think for me a realistic time for that
Because you
sort of
paced yourself, you were still
yeah,
working full time for DPD with your own side business, and you didn't, as you say, overburden it. You saw the criteria, you took bite-sized chunks from beginning to end, and you gave yourself that time to understand it before you proceeded, which is a really, really good insight to have. And like you
yeah,
say, you've been fully qualified now for 18 months, 2 years, and
yeah,
now you've just got yourself like a really important job role that you've worked
mm,
really hard to get to. So
that's it.
can you tell us a little bit about you? Obviously, it's GDPR and all that sort of stuff. You can't mention
Yeah,
too much. I get
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but
So
so
it's
your
yeah.
current job role, yeah, and how you secured it, really.
So my current job role, I'm a
The newest,
technical.
no, the newest one.
Oh, the
Sorry, the one
newest
you just
one.
secured. Yeah, the next step
So
up in your career.
I'll be working for in the sort of critical national infrastructure industry as a cybersecurity testing assurance analyst. It was a journey actually because I interviewed for them. They picked up my CV about a year ago now, 11 months ago.
Hmm.
I applied for one of their roles, and I had zero experience when I applied. I had n no real world job, and the role what required 3+ years of experience. So I was quite surprised to for them to selected me for an interview. Um, but it just goes to show that if anyone's out there with no experience, if you see a job and you see that, just apply because you never know what they're going to come back with. Anyway, I went to interview. They were really nice, and
Hmm.
I crushed the interview.
Good
But
man.
I think I come up short. They said to me when I went in there, look, we know what we've said in the job description. We know you haven't got any experience. We just want to meet you. We want to get to know you. Um, and I had that interview about a year ago, and I crushed it, but I didn't get it. But it was a great experience for me. And
Yeah.
um, going forward, I did end up finding another role. It wasn't in cyber, but it was technical. It was the role was a technical lead, which is
Yeah.
what I'm still in now, transitioning. Anyway, about 2 months ago, the same company, they reached out to me and they said, there's a new role. It was better than the last one,
Oh
and they
wow.
said, we want you to apply for this. So they asked
Mm.
me to come back and apply, which was very exciting.
Wow.
And since then, I have gone through a period of interviews, and even now, 8 months experience, and this role it's mid to senior level. It's not entry level, and there was over 100 applicants. They interviewed 12 people, and just it's actually it's very special for me because it's a culmination of 3 to 4 years of hard work, and it just goes to show that it's it's possible.
Yeah.
It's more than possible to start at 0.1%, and with the help of um you guys are robust, and there's many other sort of avenues that you can use. Like LinkedIn was a huge sort of thing for me to bolster myself on there and just to gain advice from your network and build your network. It can be done,
Oh
it can
no.
be done. And so
Superb. Superb.
I will say like Jeremy,
Hmm.
um, his style of teaching, he really sort of um he was a huge mentor early on. So like Darren as well, but Jeremy as a teacher, I spent most of my time with Jeremy.
Hmm.
He was just brilliant. His style, he knows how to cut through all the BS and sort of get right down to what like you need to know and
Yeah.
also make it fun. So he was
The nitty gritty side, you
yeah,
cut through, as you say,
exactly.
the rubbish stuff, the things that
Yeah.
you might touch base on, but the important stuff, he sort of drills it into you. I
Yeah.
know that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
so based on the journey from beginning to end, did you
Yeah.
ever manage to touch base with our career support? So did we optimize a LinkedIn profile for you? Did we get you in touch with
I
anybody
mean,
after?
yeah, I spoke to Jake, and I had a few phone calls with him, which he was on board with the UKPN stuff as well. Sorry, you might have to cut that. You might have to cut that bit out because I just said the company.
That's
But
all right. Yeah, we
yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, he was on board with that as well.
Hmm.
And he really helped me in that first interview with the one that I didn't get. But obviously even though I didn't get it, it
Yeah.
was clearly integral as to part of the journey through, because
Yeah.
obviously I went back the second time. So Jake was really helpful. He helped me with my CV. He sent me sort of the technical CV template, what people generally
Well, the
Like
industry recognised the keywords in your yeah,
keywords.
your,
Yeah,
your knowledge and your training that you've done to help you build that up. So do you think that that job that you went for first time where you got great experience but didn't get offered the role, do
yeah,
you think that was based on, so obviously on who you are and how you portray yourself, which is superb. And
yeah.
do you think it could have been because you had the working qualifications that the industry desire? So they gave you a chance over, I don't know, 10 or 15 people that had a degree in cybersecurity.
Yeah, I mean, it's my opinion, because I
Hmm.
have friends who are trying to break into this industry as well.
Yeah,
You need to have everything. You
yeah,
can't, you need to have the CV, the cover letter, the certifications. You need to have interview sort of performance. So
yeah,
when you actually get your, you got to have all your ducks in a row. You got to have
yeah,
your portfolio. You got to have your website, your LinkedIn. Everything needs to be there. Without those certifications, the certifications are key. That first interview with this company that I had, the one I didn't get,
yeah,
he had my CV in front of him, Jake's template. He had the my certification. I put my badges on it as per Jake's um recommendation.
yeah.
He had his pen and he was circling the CH with his pen and saying like this is really impressive. So it is very, I feel like it's very important. Very, very
Yeah.
important to have those, especially if you're coming from a place of no experience. It was without that, the I'd have had no chance. No chance.
Oh,
So
thank you. Really
yeah.
appreciate it. So how would you say that the training prepared you for that job market after? Because obviously you say you had that first interview with the company, you crushed it, you smashed it. So you must have felt proud at the end of it and realized, what? But I haven't got any experience. So how am I going to get this? And you
Mm,
must have
mm,
done and left such an impression that literally 8 months later they came
mm.
back to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how would you say that the training prepared you for that interview? But basically, so how are you before on interviews, like beforehand, before you even started
I'll
this?
be I'll be honest with you. That interview was my first ever job interview.
Wow.
I still to this day have only ever been to I've only been to three job interviews. So that one, the one that I got that got next was my second, and I got that job.
Yeah.
And then this was my third, and I got this one. So I'm two out of three, you would say.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
66.666%.
yeah.
Well, essentially, you think of it, right? You're realistically 3 times out of three because the same company called you back eight
Yes,
months later, and it
yes.
looks like they created a role just for you. That's what you should tell yourself anyway.
Yeah,
Every night, 8 months later, they created this new role just for you because you left
yeah.
such an impression on them from your hard
I
work and
hope
your
so.
dedication. But
Yeah.
no, I really appreciate that. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your experience and your journey from the very first time you left that inquiry to where you are now?
I would say I would say the vibe and energy that I got from sort of it was difficult before I was in the building at Robust because you
Hmm.
don't really know who you're dealing with and meeting. They're just sending you the content. But the moment I got in that building, the sense of what's the right word? Like a family, you know? There was a sense of
Comfort.
um yeah, like everybody was on the same team and everybody had the same sort of mental direction. We're all here to help each other. We're all on the same side and we're all gonna achieve and gain success together. That feeling, I feel, like I need that from whether I'm working for myself or whether I'm training in a school or whether I'm working for a company. That I need that healthy sort of environment. And as soon as I felt that, I knew that it was going to be a success for me. I knew that I'm gonna breeze this. Like, it doesn't matter. As soon as I got in that room with Jeremy and the energy, like like bouncing off like different ideas and everything was like flowing in the classroom, I knew that it was the place for me. So, and I would
Super.
honestly, I would just say that if anybody's curious or thinking of jumping into this sort of challenging, crazy space, which is also very rewarding and very fun if it's for you. It's for me anyway, it's very fun. And I would say go for it and trust yourself and trust the guys at Robust, because they really care, and they really do well, they did a good job for me, so I think they will for you
And
too.
the thing is, you've proved it. But like we say, that's as much your dedication and commitment. But look, I really appreciate your time, Freddie. I can't
No
stress it
worries.
enough. I do really appreciate you sharing your testimonial.
No,
I was
thank
going to
you.
say good luck in your CYSA Plus exam, but I know you've got that nailed on the head anyway. But look, any
Appreciate it.
contact, if you ever need anything from us, you've got my number now. You can come through
Okay,
me directly. I'll always look
excellent.
after you and stuff like that. But if I don't hear from you, best of luck in your new role. I know you're going to
Thank you.
smash it. I hope this
Thank
time in 5 years, you'll be a high senior level, putting in
you.
six figures, or maybe look at starting at your own business and taking on contracts in your own way. I think you've got that mindset in you. But
Yeah,
look,
yeah,
really appreciate it, mate. Have a
no
great
worries.
weekend. Thank you for
You
your time
too.
this evening. And
No
like I said, if
worries.
you need me, you know where I am.
Thank you, Liam. Appreciate it.
Now,
Have a
all
good
the
one, man.
best, mate. Good
Yeah.
luck, yeah?
Cheers, mate. See you
Bye,
later.
bye, bye.
Bye.